So welcome to all the Divine Atma Jyotis. In the Manana of the Aparoksha Anubhuti, so far we have been contemplating based on Prabhuji's day one talk on Aparoksha Anubhuti. We have broken them into various questions and we've been contemplating based on that. So far we have contemplated on these about 6 or 7 questions. And in our last session, we looked at whether scriptural study alone, without guidance of a Sadguru, can it help in self-realization. So today, let us take up the question of what is Prasthana Traya and does scriptural study help in self-realization. This question was also posted in the group for your written contemplation. Some of you did and some of you couldn't. So now, each one of you can briefly share your view on this question. So let's begin from there. Who would like to say first? What is Prasthana Traya? You can begin from there also.
Since I shared in writing, maybe I will wait for others.
Or maybe to kind of help jog the memory, you can briefly share your spoken understanding also.
Okay. So, Prasthana Traya is are the 3 texts that the Hindus or those who live in this subcontinent, they refer to as the main text. It's basically a reference text to guide people in their life. Or like you can say it as a even as a user manual to understand life, and like almost in every area they had their own text to guide people. And why is that needed? Because without a common reference, there is going to be confusion, and also without a guide, people will be will not have will be just running around. And the Prasthana Traya, the 3 texts which we consider, they explain, they give the direction to the seekers, to those who are interested. And the 3 are Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, and Brahma Sutra. And the question can be like, why 3? It is why 3 texts? Why not 1? I would say like it is the depth of the explanations varies in the 3 texts, but the central teaching in all the 3 is about you or me, right? And the question may come like, what's so special about me? I know about me, right? And if you go deeper, you understand that me, I am the one who is experiencing everything. For me, the whole world is basically an experience, and I go through this happiness, sorrows, jealousy, greed, irritation, tension, pressure, everything. So the one who is going through that is me. So it is more important that way. If you see that me, I should know about myself. Otherwise, I will always go through these feelings and will go through the unnecessary or like artificially created problems. And so the central teaching is about me. Right? So what is that the understanding for someone who has not gone into these texts, right? The community-based understanding, initial understanding is, oh, I am so and so. My name is this. I do this. I do that. Right. So I go by all those roles. Right. I am a dad. I work as an engineer. I am an engineer. Right. But then what one has to realize is all those are roles and they keep changing. And what is changing cannot be real. And so that means that cannot be the explanation for me. Right. What I define as me has to be something unchanging. Right. Okay, so if I am not all these things, then how do I, what is that, what is left there? Right. And if you see, the answer is in the answers I gave itself, that the I repeated every time, right? I am Saravanan, I am an engineer, I am a dad. So the unchanging one is that I, right? Not all those other roles. Okay, and so how do I define, like, okay, I got that I. So what is this I? How is it? How can I, or as I'm like, I'm trying to understand everything from the domain of mind, intellect, right? How can I understand this I? What is the nature of this I? So if you start looking into the nature of this I, to define anything new, the common method is to use something which is known, right? If I am trying to explain you about some new fruit I had, okay, then I may say that, you know what, it is something like round shape. It has maybe red color. The texture was like this, right? So I'm using all the things that you know to take you to that new thing I'm trying to explain. Right? Now, in this case of this I, there is no other thing like that I that is there in the world to take you. Right? So I cannot tell you like it is like this because there is no other thing like that. So the other approach is not this, right? Which is, it is not that, it is not that. So you keep saying no, 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 and then you bring it, you get that explanation. For example, is it a thing? No, it is not a thing. Oh, it is not a thing. Then from that very answer, it is not a thing. That means it has no shape. It has, a thing has a, like if I say apple, it has a shape. So it has no shape. It is limited in size. It is unlimited in size. It is there everywhere, unlimited in size. Right? It has no smell. Right? And so what is it that, like, which has no shape, which is not a thing? If it is not a thing, what can it be? Right? And where is it? Right? And this thing is everywhere because it is a thing is in some place. Okay, if I say that the apple is in my desk, it is in my desk. It is not in your desk, right? So when I said it's not a thing, so it is not limited. So it is everywhere also. So from that one definition of not a thing, I can basically tell you some parts, features of this thing, right? It has no shape, it has no smell. It is not limited in space. It is spread everywhere, right? And then the question may come, okay, everything starts at some time. So how about this? it has no beginning, no end. So it was always there, is there, and will always be there, which leads to the question, real question we started. The real has to be unchanging. So this is that unchanging one, which means it doesn't change. It was how it was there, it is there now, it will be there always, like that. And any other thing changes, it changes with time. And apple, if I take, it was not there, then it became a fruit, and then like after a while it will again die down, right? But while this thing, it is unchanging, so it was there, is there, will always be there. So this is how we are the Prasthana Traya takes you to that the nature of you, or that I, that points to this, right? And since I said it's not a thing, it has to be something, right? And it is what we call as the intelligence, or the pure or consciousness, because it also knows everything. It is not like a jada. It's not a stone or a wood which does not understand. Right? This also it is only pure intelligence. Right? So in short, we can define this as the pure existence, Sat, right? Which was always there, is there, will be there. And then it is not a thing, so it is a intelligence or consciousness, Chit, right? And then we said like it is limitless, right? When you say limitless itself, what happens is it is there everywhere, so there is no lack. It is there everywhere, no lack. So Ananda, right? Sat Chit Ananda, right? So that is what we are referring to. This our sacred text refer to you, and the name given for that is Brahman, right? So that you is nothing but Brahman. And okay, so kind of I get it that I am this Brahman is like this. Okay, so how can I apply, or like how can I make use of this knowledge? Okay. So to explain that, we can take the example of water. Okay. So water in its under normal conditions in natural state, it is like a liquid, right? Tasteless, odorless liquid. Okay. You need to disturb that state to make it maybe a ice cube, a solid, or a vapor, a gassy state. Or you can change the state by adding maybe some powder. It will become a tea, or a soft drink, juice, right? But the water remains as water in whatever form you do. Taking that analogy here, now that I know that I am the Brahman, so my nature is that Brahman, which is Satchit Ananda. Okay, the situation may take me to any other state, but I when I say take me to that any other state, meaning the system of the of this Brahman, when it comes to, okay, the Brahman, when it comes to individual, we give a name as Jiva, Atma, right? And so Atma with this body can be in any other state, but the nature of that is the pure Atma, which is Satchitananda only. Right? So there is no, so if I have to talk about myself with this teaching from the Prasthana Traya, why should I read these scriptures? The teaching is that I was thinking that I am this body, so I am limited. and it basically tells me that I'm not this body which is which is changing, and I am that unchanging. I have to be the unchanging one, which is this unlimited, right? And all the limitations go away, and I exist all the time. Okay, there is no birth and death to the real I. Only the body has a birth and death, right? And I in real have no lack, while the body has lack, which is like the body is here, but not anywhere else. Right? The body changes, but I don't change. Right? So this understanding will lead to everyone, like lead to the seeker knowing the real self, or what we call as realizing the self, which is the self-realization we're talking about. Without this knowledge, without the scriptures, one will be running around trying to like expand in wealth, or like in time health, right? Everyone, if you don't understand, you again everyone goes after the same three things, but outside, which is like, you know what, I don't want to have lack, so I want to get everything. I want to be wealthy, I want to be powerful, right? I want to live longer, so I I want better health, and I want to do everything, anything possible to extend the lifespan. But like in reality, I'm already the one with no lack and like existing all the time. And so that's the reason why one has to read these scriptures, and the scriptures are the Prasthana Traya. Yeah, we'll stop here.
Wonderful, Saranvanji. However, see, your speech focused more on the content, a generalized content, but not so much on what exactly is Prasthana Traya.
Yeah, okay, I agree.
Right? Okay.
I think the moment I got into the message, Yeah,
correct,
I agree.
correct.
Okay. So Prasthana Traya, if I have to talk about the three, talk about the three, then maybe like let's say, it starts with Upanishads, which are the texts that are part of the Vedas, which come at the end of Vedas, or what is called Vedanta also as well. Right? And then we have Bhagavad Gita, which is presented, which comes during one of the in one of the epics, which is Mahabharata. And the teaching of Bhagavad Gita again is not different from Upanishads. Why or how the difference is, while the Upanishads, there are like 108 Upanishads, or more than 108 Upanishads, but what we know is 108 Upanishads. And one may have to go through, can go through all the Upanishads, while Bhagavad Gita summarizes the teaching and is easily available to anyone to start the learning. So Bhagavad Gita can be a starting point to learn about this text. And then like one can jump into Upanishads to go deeper. And while Brahma Sutra is like even more deeper, where like you basically start questioning every point, and like almost every question about that can come in this learning is basically covered in Brahma Sutra, which is what I understand.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Who would like to go next?
I'll say so.
Yes, Shubhaji.
Yeah. The Prasthana Traya refers to the three important texts which forms our foundation of Vedanta, which is Shruti Prasthana, Smriti Prasthana, and Nyaya Prasthana. Shruti Prasthana is nothing but the important Upanishads which we have, and they are considered to be non-human origin. That means which is not touched by the humans. And the second one is Smriti Prasthana, which is considered next to the Shruti Prasthana, and they are of human origin, like the Bhagavad Gita and our Itihasas, Puranas, all that. Then we have the Nyaya Prasthana, which includes Brahma Sutras. So together, these three are called the Prasthana Traya, which is the base for Vedanta. And the all these things talk about all these Mahakavyas talk about the relationship between the Jiva and the Brahma. So when we look at the Upanishads in Rig Veda, it says Prajnanam Brahma, which is nothing but consciousness is Brahma. In Yajurveda, it says Aham Brahmasmi, which is I am Brahman. In Samaveda, it's Tat Tvamasi, you are Brahman. And in Atharvana Veda, it is I am Atma Brahma, which is this self is Brahma. So if you look at all the three, it is nothing but our relationship as a Jiva to Brahman, which is nothing but self-realization, which is path to Brahman. So the next question, how it helps in spiritual study? It is all these things in our life, we want nothing but happiness. So how do we say we need spiritual study? When we look at other things, it is nothing but outside happiness. But when it comes to spiritual study, it's we realize that nothing is there outside, it's all inside. So I would just put it in one word that we have to see inside. That is what I as per me is spiritual study. So this is my short explanations.
Excellent. Very good. Very good. So one clarification question.
Yeah.
So when you say Upanishads are non-human, are Shruti Prasthana, Bhagavad Gita is Smriti Prasthana.
Yeah.
Can you differentiate between these two?
Bhagavad Gita is Smriti Prasthana because it is subject to interpretation. Shruti Prasthana is not subject to interpretation. It is the Mahavakyas. It is something which is not touched by humans.
Okay. And Nyaya?
Nyaya, I think Nyaya Prasthana is more like our Arthashastra, all those things comes under Nyaya Prasthana.
Okay. So
no, I'm wrong. Okay. Example.
So in the Upanishads, like Sarvanji said, there is about 108 or 114.
Yeah.
Upanishads are part of the Vedas, found at the end. Yeah, so Upanishads. These are the revelations. Yeah, so the Rishi or the Muni has got the revelation, and that is captured as Upanishads. So it's like Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Shavasya Upanishad, Mandukya. Yeah, so these are called Upanishads. Yeah, specific texts are Upanishads.
Yes.
And Bhagavad Gita is not a category. It is Bhagavad Gita only.
Only, yes.
And Brahma Sutra or Nyaya Prasthana is not categories. It is Brahma Sutra, only Brahma Sutra text.
Okay, yeah.
Which is authored by Vedavyasa Maharshi.
Vedavyasa, yeah. Brahma Sutra is
So essentially Bhagavad Gita is one, Brahma Sutra is one, so two, and then the Upanishads may be depending upon how you look at it, 108, 114, so like that. But out of them, there are about 14 major Upanishads. So it is essentially these, say 118 plus 1 plus 1. So about these 120. The number, the exact number is questionable. But it is these particular texts which are called as Prasthana Traya. So Chanakya's Arthashastra doesn't come in Brahma Sutra.
Okay, yeah, okay.
So therefore now my question is, what is Nyaya What is Nyaya Prasthana?
Nyaya is how to conduct yourself in the world. Dharma.
But that is already given in Bhagavad Gita. That is already mentioned at length.
I have no idea, sir. Maybe I
Okay,
would
all
like
right.
to know more about it.
Let us see if anybody else wants to share their view.
Yeah.
Deepaji?
Sir, Prasthana Traya, there are 3 texts. One is Upanishad, then second one is Bhagavad Gita, and the third one is Brahma Sutra. Upanishads, they are called Shruti because Upanishads are the heard ones. So they are called Shruti Prasthana. They are actually told by Brahman directly. It doesn't come from the human mind. And then Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita, they're called as Smriti Prasthana. Smriti Prasthana because Shri Krishna actually gave the teaching to Arjuna, and it was then written by Mahabharata, was written by Veda Vyasa. So it is actually heard. Then lastly, Brahma Sutra. Brahma Sutra is written by Veda Vyasa again, and it gives a logical explanation for Upanishads. But Shruti Prasthana, that is Upanishad, it is just written, it has no logic in it. It is logically explained in Brahma Sutra. But still, it is difficult for the humans to understand. And so, Sri Krishna actually taught Bhagavad Gita. And Bhagavad Gita is the summary of all of the Upanishad itself.
Then how you said, for both Bhagavad Gita and Upanishad, even Bhagavad Gita is heard. Then what is the distinction, fine distinction between Shruti and Smriti?
I think since it comes out of the memory.
Excellent. Smriti essentially means that, yeah.
Yeah. But all the texts teach Tattvamasi itself. I am Brahman.
Okay. Excellent. Then what is according to you Nyaya?
Nyaya. No idea, sir.
Okay, all right. We'll examine that a little more. Shilpaji, your understanding?
So I've not gone in detail. I've just mentioned, I've done the basic, like Prasthana, Traya are foundation texts of Vedanta, and they are Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita, and Brahma Sutra. Together they constitute Prasthana Traya. So that is all I've done. I have not gone in detail with
Okay. All right.
what it is actually.
Okay. See, examination of the word many a times reveals a lot. Traya. Trayi. You would have heard Gayatri or Traya. Traya means 3. Then Prasthana. Prasthana means to go towards. To go towards. To go towards what? To go towards your own divine nature, which is given the word Brahman. Therefore, Prasthana Traya, the word Prasthana Traya indicates it's a path to Brahman. So it has laid out a very well organized and systematic path to examine, understand, and to become Brahman in the sense of realizing your true nature. So Shruti, it is a revelation. Shruti is not looking at giving the logic, not looking at explaining. It is simply a revelation of the great being, which is revealed to a Maharshi or a Rishi, which the reference is not necessarily known. And that is discussed between the Guru and the Shishya, and that is how it is passed on from generation to generation. It's a Shruti, Shruti Pradhana. In the Indian spiritual education, the teaching is Shruti Pradhana. It's always a Guru and the Shishya sitting together. That's why the image. Upanishad itself means sitting nearby. Nishad means to sit, and the word Upanishad means to sit nearby. Nearby who? The Guru. And who is the Guru here? The one who is an embodiment of the divine only. So that discussion between the Guru and the Shishya is what is part of the Upanishad. And what is the Guru saying? Guru is saying what is that is revealed. So therefore, you will not find a reference of which Guru particularly has written that Upanishad. So it's a Shruti. It is heard. And it is passed on as it is heard, generation to generation. Bhagavad Gita, as you all rightly said, so in the Dhyana Shloka of Bhagavad Gita also, it says, Sri Krishna essentially is like a milker of the cows. And the cows are nothing but Upanishads. And what he milks, that milk is called Bhagavad Gita, and that is drunk by none other than Arjuna only. That is what that Dhyana Shloka says. Sarvopanishado gavo dogdha gopala nandanaha. So in that Dhyana Shloka, it is said the milker is Krishna. So what is the milk? Bhagavad Gita. So which means what? Bhagavad Gita is essentially nothing but message from Upanishad only. So Bhagavad Gita and Upanishads are not separate in that sense. It is the Upanishad statements said in a very easy to remember and a nicely organized kavya form. And it is Smriti Prasthana, Smriti. So it is now, as you saw in the very first Dhyana Shloka, Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Grititam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam. Narayana, in the form of Krishna, told it to Arjuna, and it was captured by none other than Veda Vyasa Maharshi. So it is like it's a written down memory. It's a memory. So in that sense, is Upanishad and the way Upanishad and Bhagavad Gita are being passed on, is it any different? It is not really different. This is also heard initially as the very first Dhyana Shloka says, it is said by Narayana in the battlefield in the form of Krishna to Arjuna, and this was captured by Veda Vyasa. So when did he capture? So it is Smriti, right? From the memory he captured. So in that sense, it is Smriti Prasthana. But it is essentially the message of Upanishads. Then what is Nyaya or Brahma Sutra? when we are discussing about any of these Vedantic topics, there is bound to be a lot of distinction in the viewpoints or differences in the viewpoints. One very classical example is, does the world exist when I am in deep sleep? When I am in deep sleep, is there an existence to the world? Simple question. Of course, when I wake up, nobody has taken away the world. Whatever I left it with yesterday seems to be there. And somebody is awake and they're looking at me going into deep sleep. And that person said, you went to deep sleep at 6, our scientists do all this measurement, brain measurement. And through that, they can know whether you are in initial sleep or dreaming sleep or you're in deep sleep. They give different waveforms to the brain waves, alpha, beta, gamma, theta, like that. Deep sleep, they say, is a theta state, very, very less vibrations. So they're measuring you. You are in deep sleep. You said after you came back, and I also noticed in the way your brain waves became slow, and the world was still there, isn't it? So, whereas Vedanta says the world is, and you, world and you come together. There is no world without you. And the world and you both are never born, never to die. Ajata. So now, how do you reconcile these viewpoints? Which viewpoint is correct then? Which viewpoint has to be given the precedence? Another philosopher comes and says, another example, one philosopher comes and says, the highest is nothingness. It is a no thing, nothing. Shankaracharya comes and says, but that highest is Jnana Swarupa, is pure intelligence. It is not a jada, nothing. Now, how do you reconcile all these viewpoints? So that is Nyaya. The word Nyaya itself indicates to you, Nyaya means what? Some kind of there are different viewpoints. It is like, the border dispute. So this side of the border and that side of the border, and where we should draw the border, which side is ours and which side is yours. So then there can be disputes. Then, somebody has to go and represent all the facts and with the pure reason has to argue why this has to be part of this side of the border and not that side of the border. So like that, Nyaya is all about giving that judgment. This viewpoint and this viewpoint, okay, with all possible careful considerations, then this viewpoint is given the highest importance. And the way you arrive at that Nyaya is a very logical, systematic process. This is to eradicate any differences, because it may seem like there are differences in opinion when Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita are interpreted in one way. The whole of Bhagavad Gita can be interpreted as a text which is talking about Dvaita. There is God and there is me. Whereas Shankaracharya has interpreted that and given the viewpoint of Advaita, no two. So all these are finer distinctions that needs to be resolved. And that is the focus of Brahma Sutra. Nyaya Prasthana, to reconcile. And like already Sarvanji explained in great detail, the essential message of all of it is Tattatvamasi. However, in Nyaya Prasthana, it is to remove any doubts or any kind of viewpoint differences which are in conflict with that. Because duality-based thinking, a dualistic thinking may induce How can I be that? I am separate and God is separate. Whereas ultimately, all the three of them, through different approaches, bring about you are that. Is this bringing clarity?
So does that mean the Brahma Sutras have that neti neti? I'm not this, I'm not this.
Not only neti neti. Brahma Sutra is an essential examination of, it is said to be very terse and very advanced in order to understand. It is not only neti neti. It has all these questions. So there is say, for example, there is a Siddhanti, who is justifying his viewpoint, and there is a Purva Pakshi who is asking questions. Remember the conversation that we had with Purnimaji, and we called her the Purva Pakshi.
Yeah, that Yajnavalka and all those things come in that.
Like
Okay.
that.
Like that, okay.
What is happening there? See, for example, during our Manana Kriya, we all are doing, in one time, we are wearing the hat of a Siddhanti. In another time, we are wearing the hat of a Purva Pakshi.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah.
We kind of go through that process as well.
So we call it the stirring the pot, right? So we ask a question, then somebody else, is giving a viewpoint, and then we ask another question.
Yeah.
So then, ultimately it has to be resolved. So that kind of examination is what you will find in Brahma Sutra. Okay. All right. Any other questions? Excellent.
Yep.
Then, how does scriptural study help in self-realization? Already, Saranji has examined that in great detail, which is essentially when you, under the guidance of a Sadguru, take up scriptural study, it essentially is about you. But there is a wrong notion about me. And I need to resolve the wrong notion. And the scripture becomes my pramana. It is like, how do I know that, you got a bachelor's degree in science, commerce, arts? You will show me a piece of paper. Now that piece of paper, I can take and I go to whatever that piece of paper says, University of Calcutta. I go to University of Calcutta, there is an office and I inquire, hey, is the name, roll number, all this, is it true? They will say, yeah, it is true. Or they may say, no, it is not true. Then we know that, maybe you faked it. I'm not talking about any one of you. Example. So like that, we use that piece of paper and going to the office there as pramana, as proof of validation. That, whatever you're saying, how do you know your Aadhaar is valid? How do you know your Aadhaar is valid? Anybody can make up that Aadhaar thing, no? How does the Aadhaar become valid Aadhaar? Because whenever you use it in any transaction, it has to be verified by Aadhaar. You go and use it, say you give somebody, bank, this is my Aadhaar number. They will say, oh, very good, sir, I will take your Aadhaar number. And they'll do something. And then they say, sir, you must have received a OTP to your registered phone number. Can you please give me that? So what are they doing behind the scene? Behind the scene, they entered your Aadhaar number and it went to UIDAI, and that UIDAI sent that bank, hey, with this Aadhaar number, this is the photo you should expect. And that fellow, whoever is entering your details, they will look at that photo and they will look at you. And then it will also say, the name should be this name only. They will see the name that you have given and the name that is coming from Aadhaar. And then ultimately, they will also ask, okay, it says that, it has sent a OTP to your phone number. So it is not simply having Aadhaar will give you validity. It is, you should be able to verify that. So that is why it's called a verified credential. And UIDII becomes your verifier. You trust that UIDII. Okay, you trust. So now, so tomorrow, somebody else may fake up UIDII. But for now, there are measures in place so that that doesn't happen. So when there is no faking, you trust some central. Ultimately, for Nyaya in India, in civil court, in civil cases or criminal cases, what is the ultimate authority in India? Supreme Court of India. So you trust Supreme Court of India. Whatever happens there, ultimately that's it. End of it. There is nothing else you can do beyond that in India. Like that, the scriptures become the pramana. So Sadguru, whatever Sadguru is teaching, it is in line with the scripture. Doesn't necessarily mean that the Sadguru has learnt it from scripture. It simply means that Sadguru's deepest realization would resonate with scripture, because scripture is also nothing but Sadguru's Vakya only. Because Brahman is one only. Ekam Sat Vipraha Bahuda Vadanti. Truth is one, but the known say it in slightly different ways. Like how Brahmajnanavali Mala and Upadesha Saram essentially are both pointers to the same, but from slightly different viewpoints. When you carefully look at it, what they are referring to is the same. So in that sense, Ramana is not different from Shankara. Shankara is not different from Prabhuji. So in that sense, all of them are saying the same thing. And that is what you will find it in the scriptures as well. So scriptures cannot be saying something other than what the Sadguru is saying, or the vice versa. Sadguru cannot say something that is not in line with the scripture. Does not mean Sadguru has read scripture and therefore repeating. If it is true, it has to be true, whether it is said by somebody's speech or you find it in the scripture, isn't it? So in that sense, a scriptural study under the guidance of a Sadguru helps in clarifying and bringing deepest clarity. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
All right. So do we want to take up the next question, or do we stop here and then, next question, these two questions, difference between sadhana, siddhi, jnana, mukti.
Is this in day one talk?
Yeah.
Or is this coming at the end, or?
Yeah, it is coming towards the end.
Okay, because I think I'm still behind. I'm still in day one talk and a few minutes left.
Yeah.
I didn't see this. Maybe it is coming next. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then, maybe you all can watch the rest of the day one talk. And like I said, I request and encourage all of you also, if you feel based on the day one talk, if any further questions can be created. Because, the more and more, as you can see, a question is helping us to go deeper.
Yeah.
We have heard the talk, and when we phrase questions and we look at answering, it kind of, gives us the clarity, right? So from the day one talk, if you can find out any other questions, please do so. Then what we will do is, I will post these two questions in our group. So you can do, the writing manana. Writing manana is,
Learning can happen over the week.
Through the week. And then when you come here, it will be speech manana. All right. And then after that, we'll move on to day 2. And all this deck is already available to all of you, so you can keep adding to questions here. Already some questions are from day 2 also are there. So Prabhuji said, there are only seven talks of Aparoksha Anubhuti. So yeah, all right.
Okay.
Any other questions, points? Is the approach okay? Any recommendations, any other changes? Feel free.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure if we are should just thinking.
Saravananji, you have already started thinking about the next question, is it?
No, he's thinking about the questions. He has a question about the question.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so Vijayji, so should we spend more time on the Aparoksha Anubhuti discussion to get the flow? That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
I'm not sure I understood your pointer. Can you?
So the way we did for Tattva Bodha, where everyone came with their explanation of a given segment of the talk shared.
But the way Prabhuji is organized, the Aparoksha Anubhuti is, it is not segmented.
It's okay.
It is simply day 1, day 2, day 3, like that, 7 talks. And in
And
each
it's
talk,
1 to 25 shloka wise, 1 to 25 in day 1, 25 to 50 in day 2, like that.
the Aparoksha Anubhuti, has many shlokas.
Okay.
It has about, I think, 144.
Okay.
Yeah,
144 shlokas.
Okay.
So now the way Prabhuji has organized the talk is, he has just spoken about, say, 1 to 25, and in another 25 to 56. Yeah, so some kind of a grouping.
Okay.
Which means the nature of the topics in each of the talk. So for example, in day 1 talk itself, it focuses on what is Aparoksha Anubhuti, why we should Aparoksha Anubhuti, what is the nature of the suffering, why, before we take up a study of Aparoksha Anubhuti, how to develop Shat Sampati, the Sadhana Chatushtaya.
Agree.
So like that, it goes into, as you can see, the questions are nothing but, broadly, the key questions, if let's say there was a Arjuna Krishna Samvada happening for Aparoksha Anubhuti, Arjuna might have asked these questions, and Krishna might have given these explanations.
So, okay, so you want to approach Aparoksha Anubhuti by question answers like this.
Because it's a long video, so if we
put so even if it's
otherwise
long,
we may miss. No.
Yeah.
In the sense, comparatively, we may miss in between. So this question will make us think, oh, did I hear this question in the video? We will go back again and we will do the journey.
Yeah. Since it's a long video, I was also thinking, like, should we group by the shlokas and say, you know what, next session we will focus on 26 to 36 shloka explanation or contemplation.
The thing is, in the talk, Prabhuji has not referred to particular shloka. So then what you will have to do is, you will have to have the Aparoksha Anubhuti shlokas with you, and you will have to refer to it.
Okay.
Which is also perfectly fine.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Yeah. No, this is fine. I'm just realizing. So if we are going through question and answer like this, then maybe I will organize my reference also like that.
And if you find that there is at the end of the day, the whole 1.5 hour talk of day one, if we can organize it into topics.
Okay.
And for each topic, what are the kinds of questions is what way we are doing it here.
Okay.
However, once when we complete that day one talk, we can once again, have a summary session. Okay, this is what I've realized from the entire day one, the whole of day one. Like that, also we can continue to flow.
Okay. Okay, fine. I got it. Yeah. First, I didn't realize. I thought you were asking general questions. Now I realize that actually the questions are from the talk. That's why my answers were actually general.
These are questions that you can even use the reference of
I agree.
to answer, or Bhagavad Gita to answer.
Yeah.
But as you are listening to those talks, clearly they stand out. And that's why I'm encouraging all of us to think of questions.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
I can also share that way.
Yeah. Being a Purva Pakshi is relatively easy. But to do what Shilpaji did is difficult. To say that no, please chant, and to chant in front of everybody, and to have the the inner wisdom to correct when somebody says is great.
Okay, I wanted to actually answer that time.
Yeah.
So Shilpakalaji,
Yes,
so
sir.
for this Gita Dhyana Slokam, actually, when I'm coming to the session, this is the first time I am also going through it. So before the class, it's like I will get into this turbo mode where I will read it and then I will tell myself like 20 times or 30 times until I get that flow right. And there are still tongue twisters. Okay, so it happens, but then like for me also it's the first time. So you get into that mode once you have to be there. And like since we are coming here with interest, right? So I put everything else away and I tune out, and then like I just focus on that pronunciation, how it has to be said, and like where to split, all those things. This is the first time actually. I didn't learn this in any other class. Okay. So I also go through that part, so I can relate to what you are going through.
Yes.
It's just that when I come to the class, it's as if like I know how to chant, but before the end, that the lot happened.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Today we did not hear a lot from Deepaji. Is there any final words that Deepaji wants to say?
Nothing, sir. I actually, I am also still in day one talk itself. So I didn't go through day two talk.
No hurry. We are not at all in a hurry.
No, the hurry is to reach there.
Though we keep saying Hari Om, we are not in a hurry. Because we are in hurry.
There's still a hurry there.
Because,
the more you delay.
Because we are already in hurry, we don't have to hurry Om.
But Deepaji, the more the delay, the more the suffering. So you decide.
This is like there is a Kannada gade. Totlu ತೂಗ್ತಾರೆ ಮಗುಗ್ ಜೋಗಳನು ಏನು ಮಗು ಚಿವುಟ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗತ್ತಲ್ಲ ದೀಪಾಜಿ?
ಎಸ್ ಸರ್, ಕನ್ನಡ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಕೂಡ ಬರ್ತದೆ.
ಬಹಳ ಸುಂದರವಾಗಿ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ತಾವು, ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ ತಮ್ಮ ಮಾತು. So Shilpaji, for you to understand, The
Yes,
Gade is, somebody is Chivtu means what?
Pinch.
Pinch,
Pinch.
to pinch the baby, and the baby starts crying, no? Then that fellow only is Tottul Tugadu, means the cradle, in the only rocking the cradle.
In the cradle.
So, so like that it is. So Deepaji, take your time, but then please hurry, otherwise suffering will continue.
We are having interesting questions to answer here, sir. So I'm feeling that we are going in depth.
Yeah.
Yeah, it requires preparation before to actually jump and do a deep dive.
All right. Saravanji,
Okay.
you were leading, no, in the beginning?
Yes. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, lead me from untruth to truth, darkness to light, impermanence to permanence. Om, peace, peace, peace. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, that is complete. This is complete. From completeness come completeness. When completeness is removed from completeness, what remains is complete. Om, peace, peace, peace. Nanu nanenbadu nanalla, ideha manabuddhi nanalla, Sachidanandatma Shivananu nani, Shivoham, Shivoham, Shivoham. I am not the body, mind, intellect. I am the pure consciousness, Shivaswarupi. Atmadarshanam, Brahmadarshanam, Brahmadarshanam, Satyadarshanam. Recognition of the self is recognition of the whole. Recognition of the whole is the truth. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarkamiva Bandhanat Mrityor Mukshiyamamritat. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarkamiva Bandhanat Mrityor Mukshiyamamritat. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarkamiva Bandhanat Mrityor Mukshiyamamritat. We worship the three-eyed one who is fragrant and who nourishes all. Like the fruit falls off from the bondage of the stem, may we be liberated from death, from mortality. Lokaha samstaha sukhino bhavantu. Lokaha samstaha sukhino bhavantu. Lokaha samstaha sukhino bhavantu. May all beings be happy, healthy, and peaceful. Om. That's all.
Thank you very much, Saravanji. Thank you all.
Thank you.
See you next Sunday.
Yeah.
Hari Om.
Thank you. Hari Om.
Thank you, sir.
Hari Om,
Thank you, everyone.
Hari Om.
Thank you.